there, welcome to Gaining Vision. I'm Melanie. Thanks so much for clicking. To my returning subscribers, thank you for continuous love and support. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please feel at home. How do you consume your media? Do you watch TV? Listen to the news? How about radio, newspapers? Or do you get most of your information online, on social media sites, websites? As consumers of media, there's many different ways we can get the information. My question is this: are you getting the full story? No matter what platform you're receiving your news on, it's questionable that you're getting an entire story that shows very many different perspectives. 9 times out of 10, there's a bias, a slant to the story, and you're hearing one side. And this has been very evident in recent news on the topic of the South Africa EFF 10th anniversary when it comes to the statement, kill the Boers, kill the farmers. And I was doing a lot of research and I came across 2 very different demonstrations of how to share the perspective of this story. Now let's face facts. Everybody's entitled to their opinions, and we do have freedom of speech, freedom of the press. So there's nothing that says you have to do X, Y, and Z. But for broadcasters, journalists, and content creators, there is a sense of responsibility that we should own up to ensure that we're showing all different perspectives, to allow the consumer of the media and the topic to make their own judgment and own decision on how they feel about a certain story. The first angle I wanted to share with you is from GB News. Now this is a content creator, and his perspective on this was very one-sided. He shared a lot of information. It was somewhat of a monologue, sharing his perspective of Julius Malema's statement being enticing, of calling for the death of white people.
A video emerged this week of a South African political leader at a huge rally calling for the murder of white South Africans, the Boers, descendants of Dutch settlers. Take a look.
Alliance, shoot to kill, Hamaza, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer, brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa, attention.
That wasn't a clip from Glastonbury. That man is Julius Malema, leader of the left-wing Economic Freedom Fighters, the 3rd largest party in South Africa, but growing in popularity and likely to be kingmakers at the next election.
Again, he shared his perspective from different angles from South Africa. He quoted different things happening in South Africa, even in Zimbabwe. But what I found interesting is he even quoted Elon Musk, saying that Elon Musk also shared his point of view. But at no time did GB News share any clips or proof to show what he was saying was accurate.
Elon Musk, who's from South Africa, spoke out accusing Malema of calling for white genocide. But the response from the media has been silence. Can you imagine The Guardian ignoring a white politician calling for black people to be killed? Or worse than silence, the New York Times interviewed Bongani Kalunga, an academic at the University of Johannesburg, who said that the phrase "kill the Boer" is not meant to promote violence. It was a call to mobilise against an oppressive system, Mr. Kalunga said. Except genocide against white South Africans is real. Following Malema's incendiary speech, it was revealed that a 79-year-old white farmer had been killed and his wife savagely beaten.
Again, this one-sided commentary can be dangerous. When I looked at what he was saying, of course I had to go do my own research to make sure I knew the full story. And when he was referring to Elon Musk, I was surprised to see Elon Musk had tweeted, or X'd, whichever way you want to refer to it now, a tweet that he tagged the South African president in to make sure that he knew that he felt this was enticing violence against white people in South Africa. Now, Elon Musk is from South Africa and doesn't really chime in very often, as he's very busy on South African topics, but he felt very obliged to do this.
In a surprising turn of events, Elon Musk, despite distancing himself from South Africa as always, has taken a strong stance against Julius Malema's comments. The billionaire entrepreneur who left South Africa as a young teenager recently responded to concerning news from his home country. Elon Musk's reaction came in the form of a tweet, or an X rather, in which he addressed a video clip of Malema singing a controversial song on stage. The clip was shared by New York Times journalist Benny Johnson, whom described it as shocking. Expressing his outrage, Elon Musk tweeted, or rather X'd, "They are openly pushing for the genocide of white people in South Africa." His comment drew significant attention considering his massive following on social media. In a bold move, Elon Musk tagged President Cyril Ramaphosa in his tweet and posed a direct question, "Why do you say nothing?" This call for the president's intervention added further weight in the discussion surrounding the issue. Elon Musk's unexpected involvement in this matter has caused quite a stir, as his remarks and direct interaction with President Ramaphosa has sparked debates and discussions across various platforms.
But GB News didn't share the tweet and did not show or even comment on the fact that Julius Malema tweeted back. There was no full story here. There was no proof and no evidence. Yes, everybody's entitled to their opinion and everybody has their perspective on this topic. But until we see the facts and we hear the opinions and beliefs of everybody, how can we as consumers of media find out what reality is and how we feel? On the opposite end, SABC, It's Topical, had a really amazing show that had diverse voices at the table.
Hey, a very good evening to you, South African, those watching around the world. My name is Blaine Herman, and this is It's Topical, our digital audience joining us tonight. Good to have them, as always. Looking forward to getting their questions for our guests a little later on. Are you offended by the singing of the song Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer? Does it undermine the political establishment? It has been labeled dangerous rhetoric by some. Or do you hear it differently? A struggle song that is not literally agitating an attack. Should there be a better understanding of the philosophy and the history of the song? The public debate rages on. You'll remember last year, the Equality Court ruled that the song was not hate speech. However, Afro Forum was granted leave to appeal. We'll see how that plays out. But which it leads us to our question of the week. And we're asking you, what are your thoughts on the song or chant, Kill the Boer, Kill the Farm? As always, it's a simple question. We're expecting some complicated answers.
They hosted a member from the EFF, somebody from Afro Forum, and they were in studio. And of course, they have very differing views. And it was a little bit emotional, heated even. But he gave space for them to share their thoughts and ideas.
All right, we've got lots to talk about. Let's get to it. We've lined up a number of guests, also our digital audience with us tonight. They're going to throw in some of their questions as well. Thank you very much indeed, gentlemen, for joining me. Sinao Tambo, EFF National Spokesperson, Kali Kriel, CEO of Afro Forum. Good to have both of you in studio. It's important. We need to get to a better place as a nation.
He also had many people joining digitally with different perspectives, and even shared people from South Africa, everyday people on the streets, perspectives as well.
Look, I know it is a song that has always been sung, but the problem is with trying to bring people together, I don't think it's very good. I think we should strive to just do the right thing and not sing songs that cause anxiety to people.
The song was necessary at a time when change needed to happen, but at the moment, I think it distracts away from the real work that needs to be done.
But if you bring that song now, my question is it relevant?
It's not about killing them. We are trying to kill the system that was imposed on us by the farmers, by the Boer. That's what the song means.
The song itself is just a bunch of words, but it's the intent. And if the song is meant to be taken literally, then absolutely it's deplorable. We should never be threatening people, whether by song or by any other sort of, oral outburst. But even if it's not meant to be taken literally, it's just inappropriate.
It's going to separate everybody. That's what it's going to do. And if we want, as I said, if we want this country to go forward, we have to do it together.
This gave us, as a consumer of media, a lot of information to digest. We heard the heated debate between EFF and Afro Forum.
To be a farmer today is twice as dangerous than being a police officer.
That's nonsense.
That is, of course, the truth. You're ill-informed in this
nonsense.
regard.
You know, they brought a book,
Listen,
a fake book. They brought a fake book. Yeah, this is not your farm.
You can
it's not going to happen. This is nonsense.
And we'll come back
it's
to
pure nonsense.
Don't bring your family.
You can't say police
Go ahead.
are dying at a lesser rate than farmers.
Okay, let's conclude your point and then we'll come to you.
Prove that. But we're also worried about murders on the Cape Flats. Our safety structures are involved there.
By the way.
Yeah. So for somebody to sit here playing the big man while people are being killed and our country's future is placed in jeopardy, we won't stand for that. So he can accuse us of everything, but we will go ahead to build a better future.
I think Afro Forum are the most skilled people at manufacturing non-existent evidence. And one of the things that we must be able to highlight to the people of South Africa is that he tried to bring his friend Ernst Roots as an expert witness at the Equality Court. Ernst Roots was dismissed as the fast that he was with his book that they wrote after drinking brandy and coke. They were dismissed from that court because they thought that what they were doing, because they are white and because they think their opinion can change legislation, they think their opinion is fact. They went to a court with their opinions and they were dismissed and thrown out of that court. And now he's generating another false opinion that white farmers die at a higher rate than police officers who are fighting crime in this country. I mean, that is nonsensical. We challenge him to provide evidence of that because they manufacture evidence to justify this maniacal farce of that there's a genocide in South Africa of white people. This is what they do. They state lies in public record in order for people to panic because they want funding from international right-wing formations and institutions and individuals. This is what they are doing. They fundraise on the basis of lies. They fundraise on the basis of misinformation. And we must characterize them as such.
And we could pick sides if we really wanted to, but there was some factual information. At no time, though, did the interviewer take sides. He let them have their say and then called upon some of the people joining digitally, including a psychologist, to share her research on the impact of struggle songs.
I want to bring in clinical psychologist Siphelele Nguze. Siphelele Nguze is joining us now. Siphelele, you have undertaken a study with regards to the psychological effects of struggle songs. Help us understand, what did you find? And given the conversation that we're currently having, the debate that you're having, how does it fit into the narrative? It seems that
thanks.
Go on, we got you.
Thank you very much. Okay, good. So, of course, I've undertaken a study on the psychological impact of struggle songs with former MK combatants, with an intention of really understanding what is the psychological impact that struggle songs have and have had in our struggle for liberation. What I found is that struggle songs have quite the potential of uniting and healing those that are engaged in the struggle. They play a significant role also in identity and also in chanting a way forward in terms of nation building and also in terms of uniting. So in terms of the current debate then, I don't think that there is anything that is wrong with the singing of struggle songs, because we have to remember, in listening to the conversation between Sinao and the representative of Afro Forum, the point that they seem to be emphasizing is the one of peace. But how then do we have peace without any form of justice? And justice is also embedded in those struggle songs. So in order for us to build a nation, there are some uncomfortable conversations that we need to have. We can't just whitewash our history. We can't pretend as if it did not happen. Struggle songs are a reaction of oppression and also the dispossession of Black people in terms of their land. So for us to move forward to build this nation that we all speak about, that is going to be united, non-racial and non-sexist and a prosperous society, we also have to be able to have such conversations without any fear. We also, the other thing that we have to also look into is what does white genocide do? It serves a particular function because it is non-existent. Let's just be honest about that. There's no white genocide in South Africa. There's no murder of farmers. There is more, it's a rate that is higher than farm workers, for example. It's not there. Let's just rule that out. There's statistic and scientific evidence other than just opinions that is there. Let's just take one study that was conducted in 2020. There's been quite a decrease of farm murders between 1998 and 2017 and 2018. There were 153 farm farm murders that happened in 1998. And in 2017 to 2018, there were only 47 that happened. So statistically, it does not happen. It does not exist. It's not there.
Well, it's something that we touched on earlier on. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Let them go on to what function does it serve, because that is also where I come in terms of what is the psychological impact of it. It serves as a justification point then when black people are going to be murdered, when black farm workers are murdered, there's going to be a justification that they intended to murder. So when people want to harm others, they then have a narrative that it is because of self-defense. So that is what it seeks to do. They want to justify the murder of black people because of this that they've used, and it also even international community. Leave aside those that are very obsessed with white life, that intend to really spread a narrative that is non-existent. Look, man, let's just make an example. One example of 1994, a very pivotal moment in our country when Christian was murdered. When you go back to those videos, some of the songs say, "Thina bantu bomkhonto sizimisele ukwabulala lamabhunu." It never happened. Nobody went on to murder Boers at that particular moment. So if there was really a need to murder white people at that moment, would have done it at that time. It did not happen. But there is a narrative that they want to push in our society that they are in danger, therefore it justifies them murdering black people. A month ago, there's somebody that went on to social media and said that they should have done to Gwedemantashe what they did to Christian. Afro Forum did not say anything about that. They did not say anything about that.
Got your point. Thank you very much for your contribution. CM Tanda.
This was very interesting, as well as there's other people on the panel of digital people joining, including a white woman who was a former member of EFF, and she was talking about how she was embarrassed to be a white South African. She shared her personal story, and they also called upon a young person from a university in South Africa who really felt strongly that it was enticing violence and that they needed to be putting their energy elsewhere to help create unity.
Good evening, and what a wonderful program. Brilliance is always from the EFF leadership. And I speak on this forum as a very ashamed white South African, as I am every day, because we have the Afro Forum individuals speaking about the EFF having no morals, but it is white South Africans who have had no moral compass, that we have never accounted for the great atrocities that we committed against black South Africans. And now the white man still has the arrogance to speak about what a black child should sing. It's absolutely outrageous. I mean, this is the height of white supremacy that we're still having 30 years into democracy. I'm ashamed and I'm horrified that a white man still thinks he governs this country and he can tell black, thinking, brilliant young youth what to believe. Before I go, I want to say I was a member of the EFF in 2014. I went to many rallies, huge rallies all over the country. And I was never, I felt comfortable, welcome, safe. So the propaganda of the white man, which we've had in this country for centuries under colonialism, is a pandemic that, thank goodness, the young progressive youth of this country are going to snap out, and it must stop. It is absolute nonsense. But the point I'd like to emphasize is the perpetual arrogance of whiteness. There's an immorality in that, and shame on you.
Kim, thank you very much indeed. I want to take Sheldon before we take a break, and then we'll get our guests to respond. Sheldon?
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I am a student leader of DASO at Stellenbosch University. So for me, I firmly denounce the Kill the Boer song and any form of hate speech that promotes violence and animosity towards any racial group. It is essential to foster a culture of respect, tolerance, and understanding amongst our diverse communities, first of all. We need to promote unity. Peaceful coexistence should be our goal, and we must work together to build bridges of communication. Encouraging songs or messages to incite violence, any perpetuate reason or hinder the progress of towards a more inclusive, harmonious society So I'm just saying, let us embrace more dialogue, education and compassion to create a better society for all of our fellow South Africans at home.
All right, Sheldon, thank you very much indeed.
Everybody had their say. There was a lot of different opinions, and I encourage you to definitely check out this video as it is lengthy, and there's many different perspectives. I love the fact that they went out and had people on the street sharing their perspectives, but also people calling in through WhatsApp to share their thoughts.
I want to give you now a sense of what people are saying on the street. It's called a Word on the Street feature. We hit the bustling streets of Johannesburg seeking insight and perspective on this highly contentious topic. This is what you had to say. Take a look.
A song will always be a song, and it's a struggle song. It's more of a chant to me.
I think it's provoking violence. It's completely unnecessary. You know, wherever the song stems from is irrelevant, but it's certainly just provoking unnecessary violence. You know, at a time where I think we're trying to move forward and break down, you know, racial barriers.
As much as they may say that it was a struggle song, but for someone in that race, they might feel that it's appointed to them, the same way that we would feel if it was the other way around.
So kill the farmer, kill the Boer, the same way it was sang before. We are still singing it in the same perspective, to trying to say we want to demolish the oppression.
Now everybody had a different opinion, and that's the beauty. Everybody's entitled to that opinion. But the way that SABC and the host of It's Topical held this forum and this opportunity to share their perspectives didn't put one side, give many sides for the consumer to decide what their thoughts were. This is a balanced interview. Now, of course, we heard many perspectives, and that puts onus on us as consumers of media to make up our minds of how we want to see it. So why do I bring this up? Well, not only as consumers of media, but as creators of content, whether as a journalist, a broadcaster, or a content creator, we have to be mindful that our words have power. What we're saying is there may influence others, and we need to be mindful of this when we're creating any sort of thing that will go to the public. It is our responsibility, both as creators and as consumers, to really do our research, be educated, be understanding, and also show evidence when we are putting out a point to show it's not just our opinion that we're sharing. Again, I reiterate, we're allowed to have our opinions, we're allowed to have freedom of speech. I'm not against GB's News opinion. What I'm saying is we need to make sure we're mindful not to create a one-sided demonstration. We don't want to influence the media, the consumers of media. We want to present factual information and let them make up their minds. What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear your comments. Drop them below. Check out GB News and definitely check out SABC It's Topical. You be the judge. I'll leave it to you because I know that you're intelligent and you can make up your own mind. I don't need to do it for you. Until next time, do me a favor, take a second. Hit subscribe if you haven't. It's free, it doesn't cost anything. Just click, and you're done. But then again, don't forget to like and share and hit that notification button because each time I upload new content, you'll be notified. And until next time, take care and all the best. See you later. Bye.